Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning, Bhante.
Today also I'm going to.
Good morning, Bhante.
Good morning. You can close your microphone.
Good morning, Bhante.
Yeah, close your microphone and listen, okay? Today also I'm talking on another discourse from Samyutta Nikaya. This is called Sammasana Sutta, which means a discourse on exploration. In exploration, we want to discover various things within ourselves. So thus I have heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kurus, where there was a town of Kuru named Causation Dhamma. There the Blessed One addressed the Kuru because thus. Why Buddha selected Kuru? Because it is said the people in Kuru, Uttara Kuru, they had, it was a prosperous area. People had good food, good vitamin, protein, vitamin, good fresh milk, and food and so forth. Therefore, they were very intelligent. They can understand things very quickly. That is why the Buddha gave Satipatthana, Dīඝanikāya Satipatthana, Majjhima Satipatthana, and Mahanidana, Ananya Sappaya. Discourses like this, very deep, profound discourses, Buddha gave there. Even Ratnapala, very pious man who became monk, also lived in that area. Anyway, there Buddha asked the bhikkhus, what kind of inner exploration you do? So, when the Blessed was bhikkhu replied, the Blessed One said, do you engage in inward exploration, bhikkhus? When this was said, one bhikkhu said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, I engage in inward exploration. How do you engage in inward exploration, bhikkhu? The bhikkhu then explained, but the way he explained did not satisfy the Blessed One. Then, when the Buddha was not, why Buddha was not satisfied with this exploration? This monk talked about 32 parts of the body. That is inward explanation. 34 two parts of the body, starting with head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin, sinews, nerves, and so forth and so on. These 32 parts, Kesa, Loma, Naka, Danta, Tajo, Mansan, Naru, Ati, Minja, Wakang, Hadaya, Yakana, Kilomakam, Pihakam, Papasan, Andang, Antunguna, Udrian, Karisam, Matalungang, Pitan Sema Bubolo, Itan Sedu Medu Asuasa, Helo Singa Nikalajika Mutan. These are 32 parts. And this monk explored them. They saw this exploration. It was not very bad, but this explanation was not good enough to please the Buddha. Then the Buddha did not reprimand him, but he said, now, Buddha said, this is not the proper way. Then Venerable Ananda asked the Buddha, now is the time for this, Blessed One. Now is the time for this. Fortunate One, let the Blessed One explain inward exploration. Having heard it from the Blessed One, the bhikkhu should remember it. Then Buddha said, okay, listen, I will tell you. Then Bhavana said, yes, on behalf of all other monks. And Buddha said, here, because when engaged in inward exploration, a bhikkhu explores thus the many diverse kinds of suffering that arise in the world headed by aging and death. In my yesterday's talk also I talk about aging and death as the beginning point and ending point. Aging is the moment when we are conceived in mother's womb. We begin to age. That is the beginning. And then that end in death come to be. When what does not exist, does aging and death not come to be? So this is the question that one do the inward exploration, inward research. As he explores, he understands thus the many diverse kinds of suffering that arise in the world headed by aging and death. Now, in the world means in our own world, this one fathom body of its consciousness. And it has aging and death. This suffering has acquisition as its source. Okay, acquisition is called upadhi. Upadhi is as source. Acquisition as its origin is born and produced from acquisition. When there is acquisition, aging and death comes to be. When there is no acquisition, aging and death does not come to be. Now, acquisition means acquiring something. And then what do we... so he understands aging and death is origin. Aging and death as its origin. Its cessation. And the way leading on that is in conformity with cessation. That is, according to the Four Noble Truths, aging and death itself is suffering. Its origin is craving. Its cessation of craving, and that is certain in Nibbana. And the way leading to the cessation of suffering is the Noble Eightfold Path. That also we mentioned yesterday. Now, this is an expansion and specified, exploring the specified area. He practices in that way and conducts himself accordingly. This is called a bhikkhu who is practicing for the utterly complete destruction of suffering, for the cessation of aging and death. If the aging and death is the problem, then he follow the Noble Eightfold Path to end aging and death. That is attaining liberation, Nibbana. Then engaging further, he does not stop there. He engaging further inward exploration. He explores thus. What is the source of this acquisition? What is its origin? From what it is born and produced? When what exists, this acquisition comes to be. When what is absent, this acquisition not come to be. In this exploration, in this search, as he explores, he understands thus. acquisition has craving as its source. Tanha, craving as its origin. It is born and produced from craving. When there is craving, acquisition comes to be. When there is no craving, acquisition does not come to be. Now we know Tanna Pacha Upadana, independent origination formula. And then we understand acquisition, its origin, its cessation, and the way leading on that it is conformity with the cessation. This last sentence means, this last phrase means, referring to Noble Eightfold Path. So we understand acquisition as suffering, its origin as craving, its cessation as the cessation of craving, and the path leading to cessation is Noble Eightfold Path. He practices in that way and conducts himself accordingly. This is called a bhikkhu who is practicing for the utterly complete destruction of suffering, for the cessation of acquisition. When acquisition is the problem, he practices Noble Eightfold Path to get rid of this problem of acquisition, upadi. Then he does not stop there. Engaging further inward explorations, he explores thus, when this craving arises, where does it arise? When it settles down, upon what does it settle? As in this passage you can see in Mahasatipatthana Sutta also. As he explores, he understands thus, whatever in the world has pleasant and agreeable nature, it is here that this craving, it is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. And what in the world has a pleasant and agreeable nature? The I has a pleasant and agreeable nature. Uddhase chakkun loke pirupam satrupam ette satanna upadana upadati. And pleasant and agreeable nature. Nose is pleasant, agreeable, and agreeable nature. And the tongue is pleasant and has pleasant and agreeable nature. Body has pleasant and agreeable nature. And the mind has pleasant and agreeable nature. It is here that this craving arises. When it arises, it is here that it settles when it settles down. Now, when you see the object with the eyes, and there arises in the eye pleasantness. When the eye is clear, vision is good, then you are very happy. And similarly, your hearing is good, you have pleasing nature, agreeable nature. When your nose is good, you have good smell, that gives you pleasing and agreeable nature. If your tongue, it has good taste buds, and then there is a pleasant and agreeable nature. When the body skin is clear, clean, there is a pleasant and agreeable nature. When the mind is clear, when you notice something mentally, you can see it very clearly, then you have pleasant and agreeable nature. And where there is pleasant and agreeable nature, what happened? You like it. So craving arises there. When craving arises there, it settles down. It doesn't disappear. It stays there. And when you hear sound, when it is pleasing, you like it, and craving arises. Similarly, through the nose, tongue, body, and mind. When they are pleasing and pleasant, agreeable, then craving arises. So whatever in the world has pleasant and agreeable nature, it is here that there is craving arises when it arises. Okay, so this is what you see when you very clearly exploration. Then the Buddha said, bhikkhus, whatever ascetics and Brahmins in the past regarded that in the world with a pleasant and agreeable nature as permanent, as happiness, as self, as healthy, as secure. They nurtured craving, sukha. They think instead of anicca, dukkha, anatta, and unhealthy, insecure, they thought they are permanent. Instead of impermanent, they thought it permanent. As instead of dukkha, they say it is happiness. And it is self. It is healthy and secure. What this, through the eyes, whatever they say, whatever they see, they think it is permanent. Whatever, and happiness, it has self. Similarly, whenever they hear a sound, they think it is permanent. It is permanently happy, and it has self. And whatever smell, taste, touch, they thought they were permanent. They were happiness, and they have self, and they are healthy and secure and so forth. What do? In nurturing craving, they nurture craving. In nurturing craving, they nurture acquisition, upadana, holding. When you are pleasing, you hold on to it. In nurturing acquisition, they nurture suffering. As is a craving, clinging, is the source of suffering, as we said at the beginning. In nurturing suffering, they were not freed from birth, aging, death, and sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They are not free from them. And whatever ascetics or Brahmins in the future will regard that in the world, Buddha repeated the same thing that's the Buddha's style, so that those days people did not have books and pens, computers and so forth. Everybody didn't have photographic memory or type record, what do you call the recording memory, and therefore it is easy for them to remember when something is repeated. So Buddha repeated, whatever ascetics and Brahmins in future will regard that in the world with pleasant and agreeable nature as permanent, as happiness, as self, as healthy, as secure, they will nurture craving. They will nurture craving. In nurturing craving, they will nurture acquisition. In nurturing acquisition, they will nurture suffering. In nurturing suffering, they will not be free from birth, aging, death, and sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. they will not be freed from suffering, Buddha said. And Buddha repeated the same thing with regard to the present Brahmin and ascetic. Whatever ascetics and Brahmin at present regard that in the world with the pleasant and agreeable nature as permanent, as happiness, as self, as healthy, as secure, they are nurturing craving. In nurturing craving, they are nurturing acquisition. In nurturing acquisition, they are nurturing suffering. In nurturing suffering, they are not freed from birth, aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. Now, Buddha gave a very, in order to make his teaching even clearer, Buddha gave very beautiful simile. The simile is this. Suppose because there was a bronze cup of beverage having a fine color, aroma, taste, but it was mixed with poison. Then a man would come along, oppressed, afflicted by heat, tired, parched, that means dry and thirsty. They would tell him, good man, this beverage in the bronze cup has a fine color, aroma, and taste. But it is mixed with poison. They were very honest. They tell him, drink it if you wish. If you drink it, it will gratify you with its color, aroma, and taste. If you like taste, you will be happy with the taste. If you like the color, you'll be happy. If you like the aroma, you'll be happy. By drinking it, you will meet death or deadly suffering. And suddenly, without reflecting, he would drink the beverage. He would not reject it, and thereby he would meet death or deadly suffering. Who are these people? Who are they? The word here, they would tell him. Who are they? They are Kalyanamitra, good teachers, friends, relatives who who don't want him to die. And then similarly, just like this, when you see a pleasant and an agreeable nature in your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind, what do? You will be engaged in sensual pleasure. Panchakama guna. Panchakama. You will be attached just like ant will get stuck in honey. He likes the honey, but once he comes there, he gets stuck. He cannot get out. Something like that. You glue to it, hold on to it, and you keep suffering. Just like you want to catch a monkey, you put monkey glue, and he come and try to hold it. His one hand will be stuck into the glue. Then he used to remove it. He used the other hand. Then it will glue stick there. And he uses his leg, both legs and hand. Finally, he will be stuck in the glue. Similarly, because of your enticement of for the taste, color, and smell, you drink this, and finally you will die. So people seeing to please the eyes is beautiful, and you get stuck in that. with regard to anything in life. So the Buddha said, so to bhikkhus, whatever ascetics and brahmins in the past, in the future, at present regard that in this world with a pleasant and agreeable nature as permanent, as happiness, as self, as healthy, as secure. Actually, this is what people think. They think, of course, this is very beautiful. It's permanent. It never occurred to them that they are impermanent, that they are suffering, that they have no self, that they are unhealthy, that they are insecure. Without knowing all these things, they, uh, they are nurturing craving. In nurturing craving, they are not free from suffering, I say, Buddha said. Because whatever ascetic and Brahmins in the past regarded that in the world with pleasant and agreeable nature as impermanent, as suffering, as non-self, as disease, as fearful. They abandon craving. In abandoned craving, they abandon acquisition. In abandoning acquisition, they abandon suffering. In abandoning suffering, they were freed from birth, aging, death, and sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. And also, whatever ascetic and Brahmins in the future, we regard that in the world with a pleasant and agreeable nature as impermanent, as suffering, as non-self, as disease, as fearful, they will abandon craving. In abandoned craving, they will be freed from suffering, Buddha said. And Buddha repeated the same thing for the present. Whatever ascetic and Brahmins at present regard that in the world with the pleasant and agreeable nature as impermanent, as suffering, as non-self, as disease, as fearful, they are abandoning craving. In abandoning craving, they will be free from suffering, he said. Now, what do they abandon? They abandon glue into pleasant things, no matter how pleasant they are. They are just impermanent something. Impermanent sight, impermanent sound, impermanent taste, impermanent smell, impermanent touch, impermanent thought. They all are suffering. Whatever is impermanent is suffering. Whatever impermanent and suffering is without self. And it is just like a disease, fearful. And they will be free from suffering. And Buddha used the same simile as before in the positive sense. Suppose because there was a bronze cup of beverage having a fine color, aroma, and taste, but it was mixed with poison. Then a man would come along, oppressed, afflicted by heat, tired, parched, and thirsty. They would tell him, who are they? Good friends, Kalyana Mitra, Buddhas, Arahants, and good relatives, and so forth. They are the ones. Here they refer to them. And they would tell him, good man, this beverage in bronze cup has a fine color, aroma, taste, but it is mixed with poison. They also tell him the truth, just like in the previous ones. Drink it if you wish. If you drink it, it'll gratify you with its color, aroma, and taste. But by drinking it, you will meet with death or deadly suffering. Then this man, although he is thirsty, tired, thirst, and so forth, he would think, well, I can quench my thirst with water, although this has so attractive qualities, but I want to drink water. Whey, porridge, or soup. I can wait. I can wait. I have waited so long in this scorching sun, with heat, tired, and so forth. I waited. Why not I wait for a few more minutes until I find water? But I should not drink that beverage, since to do so would lead to my harm and suffering for a long time. Now, he is the one who is mindful. He is mindful. He waited. He doesn't jump into conclusion. He waited and watched very mindfully to see what can happen to him. Having reflected, he would not drink the beverage, but would reject it, and thereby he would not meet death or deadly suffering. So too bhikkhus, Buddha said, bhikkhus, whatever ascetic Brahmins in the past, in the future, at present, regard that in the world with a pleasant and agreeable nature as impermanent, as suffering, as non-self, as disease, as fearful. They are abandoned craving. Craving has all these qualities: pleasant, beautiful, agreeable, sweet smelling, and so forth. That's the nature of craving. Abandon such craving. In abandoning craving, they are freed from suffering, I say. So, Tannakayo Nirodho Nibbana. Tannakayo Nirodho Nibbana. Cessation of craving is Nibbana. So, friends, that is the end of today's session. And I said, if you have questions, you please write them and send email to me. Email your questions and I will try to answer them. Now, let us see whether we can do some meditation. We have time, about 25 minutes. Okay. You can see this. Okay. Okay, friends. Let us focus our mind on metta before we start meditation. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long or large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth. May all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother who risks her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this, friends, let us meditate for at least 25 minutes.
Oh, maybe you can go to the garden. I'm going to water the garden. Water and food outside. Let's see who's watching. 48 people. How about that?
Okay. Okay, you can hear this. May all beings be happy and secure. May suffering be free from suffering. May fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be from the highest realm of existence, the lowest. May all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So friends, that is the end of today's session. May all those who are in hospitals suffering from various diseases taken care of by doctors, nurses, and hospital staff. May they recover very soon and practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all the doctors, nurses, and hospital staffs who are taking care of these people also find time to practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May those who have lost their loved ones may still be grief-stricken. May they be free from grief and try to understand the nature of life and practice Dhamma, practice meditation, liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in trouble spots, wars on discrimination, poverty-stricken, may they also find time to understand the nature of life and practice Dhamma, practice meditation, and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all those who are in the northern direction, northeastern direction, eastern direction, southeastern direction, southern direction, southwestern direction, western direction, northwestern direction, up and down, all of them be well, happy, and peaceful. May they all attain liberation from samsaric suffering. Okay, friends, that is the end of today's session. If you like, probably we can have our Dhammapada explanation today at 3 o'clock. And if you like to join, you may do so. And see you then. Okay?
Thank you
Bye.
very much,
Sadhu.
Bhante.
Sadhu.
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 Sadhu. Sadhu.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.